Hey guys, how's it going? It's been a long time since we've done any updates on here. Um, but yeah, let's talk about the Atlanta race. Well, I guess we can kind of recap a little bit of everything. So I haven't done a video since slightly before and way after the whole NASCAR pause. They got back racing at Darlington, and I thought that was some great racing at Darlington. Um, Head to Charlotte. And I thought the racing at Charlotte was pretty darn good. Um, Pretty darn good compared to some previous years. I think they got the rules package pretty good with that. And then we ran into Bristol. My opinion on Bristol, and I don't want to sound like the whole old guy shaking his fist, get off my lawn type of thing, but for some of these any younger fans watching this, newsflash: Bristol has been ruined for a long time. Uh, Bristol got resurfaced, and one of the things I was always upset about with Bristol and a lot of the tracks, and I know it would have cost a lot of money, but and a lot of people don't remember this, but when they put those safer barriers in, it slowed down Bristol. Not when initially they just did it on the turns, so you could still exit off. But when they put those safe barriers in, they lost a good foot or so, and you're thinking, oh, it's only a foot. That's a lot, you know. So it choked down Bristol off the exits in a way in which it just, to me, it just hurt the racing quality. It's like that track is very specifically designed to be perfect, but any small change on it just ruins it. And the racing was okay there. I don't know. They need to go back and work on the surface of Bristol. They need to regroove it. They need to get it right. The racing there has not been anything what it's used to been. I mean, the Bristol race this year was good. It was a good race. But Bristol has not had good races there in a long time. And I think it was really only good Bristol race this time because there were a lot of crashes. The racing itself was pretty decent, but I mean, again, guys, I remember watching Bristol races that were a lot better racing product than what we saw this weekend. That's just my opinion on it. I'm not trying to bash Bristol. I think it's great. It's a great track for our sport. We need it. I'm a Bristol supporter. I don't think it's one of those places that needs to go away, but the racing there was just not. It just they need to fix it. Anyways, they're doing Martinsville at night, and when they say at night, I gotta see the time on it. But yeah, that'll be pretty cool. Uh, Atlanta, I tell you what, like it's the same way with Dover. I don't blame Dover's lack of ticket sales and everything else on Dover. I blame it on the rules package for NASCAR. I blame it on a tire compound. I blame it on, those two things mainly. It's Dover itself has not really changed its surface at all. And it's losing a date, and it's not Dover's fault. It's the product of the racing's fault. It's the same way with Atlanta. I bought tickets to go to Atlanta this year before coronavirus hit. I love Atlanta. Every time I used to see Atlanta, it was really fast racing. When the truck race, when the trucks are going just as fast as a cup car at a mile and a half, there's a problem. That's not right. And I know that, like, just because you chop off the spoiler and make it smaller doesn't solve everything. But part of Atlanta's allure, I don't think I said that right, is the speed. Like, Atlanta used to look like a fast track. Those cars looked like they were just creeping. And I get it. Just because you put and the, horsepower back in the cars and everything else, it doesn't mean it's going to be good racing quality. No, it doesn't. But it's better than what we have. At least you have the speeds. Cat, get off that thing. At least you have the speeds, and okay. Sorry, I made some food and the cat's on it. But at least you have some speed there. And yeah, I do think that they cut the spoiler down a little bit. That would help, because it's still, I know when you see it on TV, it looks like it's only this tall, but the clear part to where the drivers can see beyond it is like this tall. So really, it is still huge. Then you get rid of that. The cars need to be hard to drive, but it's got to do with the tire compound too, because it was kind of noted that basically after 10 laps, drivers were just in conservation mode. And you couldn't, to me, it looked like none of the cars were really set up tight because everybody was terrified to blow a tire. And I get it, like Atlanta, it does chew up tires. I get it. But I mean, hell, they came with 13 sets of tires, and that should tell you something. If you come with 13 sets of tires and what? You had a couple spins for John Hunter Nemechek and Michael McDowell, and I think you had one for William Byron, and then you had your stage cautions. So, I mean, I think most people used up maybe 6-7 sets. All right, so you got 3 stages, that's 3 plus, let's say 3. Yeah, the most they used up is 6 or 7 sets. So I don't understand where, that should tell you that 13 sets, I think they were predicting a little bit of a different Atlanta race with that, because I don't know why you give a team 13 sets and that's all they used. And if it wasn't for, the 38 and the 34 spinning out, they would have ran those stages all the way to the end, I think, and they would have probably used up less tires. That would have been 2 more sets they didn't even use. So, I mean, it's all would have, could have, should have been type of thing. But, yeah, and the people that are saying, oh, races need to be longer, well, another news flash. At one point, 500-mile NASCAR races wasn't a big deal. People were watching them. People love to watch it that long. I think that there's a couple of issues going on with the reason why people are complaining about the races being, one is, yes, we do have a lot younger, different demographic that, in my opinion, quite frankly, their fucking attention spans can't last long enough for 4 hours to where they just can't do it. Like, they can't sit still for 4 hours. B, I tape my races, and yeah, it is kind of hard to watch them when they're boring, but I tape them. I'll go outside, smoke a cigar, do what the fuck I need to, hit play, resume. I get not everybody has cable, not everybody has a DVR. Okay. Third of all, again, I think if you change the racing product, it would be better. I mean, and everyone's saying, oh, we need to make shorter stages. Well, again, another newsflash for these younger fans, especially younger YouTubers that keep putting this stuff out there and everything else, that have these huge media platforms and followers and everything. So, before, like, stages, they would just run the race, and when a caution came out, a caution came out. Now, granted, NASCAR was known for kind of throwing phantom cautions, but, you'd go 2 or 3 pit stops on a green cycle run, and so, green flag run. So, we've already given the stages in, right? And I don't really mind the stages. Are they kind of gimmicky, and does other auto sports have them? No. We have them? Yeah. Well, I think we did it because people wanted to see cautions. They wanted to see restarts, and restarts has a higher probability of an accident. That was all like, it's a hidden agenda, but basically NASCAR is like, yeah, we need more crashes, and then, yeah, you get playoff points and you get points, and I mean, I get it, and it's kind of an advertising marketing thing and yada, yada, yada. I get it. Stages, that's fine. But I can't imagine what these people would be saying now if we didn't have stages and still ran 500 miles. They'd be like killing themselves. I don't even know how they can handle it. So, yeah, could they be a little shorter? Yeah, but they've been that long for a long time. And I'm not saying that it doesn't need to be changed, but maybe we should look at the root issues and not just try to throw Band-Aids on it, right? Because who's to say that even if you condense it, yeah, I mean, to some extent, when you condense a race, but Atlanta was a pretty boring race, period. And I think that if we would have had practices and stuff, you probably would have had even less people spinning out, and the cars would have been even more under control of the drivers, and you would have had an even more boring Atlanta race. So you gotta be careful what you're complaining about around here, because once you make them shorter, then people think you need to make them longer, probably, and it goes back and forth. But either way, this channel's all about, kind of a little bit of NASCAR updates, but Front Row Motorsports, that's my team, that's my heart and soul. If you don't like it, well, fuck you. Anyways, so yeah, Todd Gillen, he did pretty good, finished fourth. That truck team, I think they're going to go deep into the playoffs. I think they look like they got pretty solid trucks, so I think they can go deep into the playoffs. God, good for them. God bless them, man. Front Row Motorsports, John Hunter and Check, they've been killing it. Mile and a half, so Atlanta types of tracks like that. I think that kind of, one guy said, I won't say reality sunk in. I think they knew that was the reality, but I think that just kind of showed where they really are in the mile and a half programs, like the big high downforce tracks and stuff, places like Atlanta and Michigan and Pocono and Indy. I just think they're lucky to be a top 25, top 20 car. This top 10, top 15 type of thing from Front Row Motorsports, I don't think it's just going to happen on those tracks like that. I could be wrong, especially without having practices and stuff for them to kind of get a little bit closer to the leaders on pace. I don't think it's going to happen. But pit crews and stuff seem to be knocking it out. They're not making mistakes on pit road, to hurt them even more. So they're hanging in there. But yeah, other than that, been pretty pleased with their performance. I'm pretty pleased is an understatement. I've been super excited with it and really proud. So we'll see. I don't think they'll make it to the playoffs. So we'll get into that video later. I don't think John Hernimanchuk will make it into the playoffs. I think he might get close, but I think once the season keeps going, these mile and a halves and stuff, like you said, the cream's going to rise to the top. The big teams are going to show that they've got the wind tunnel time and everything else. They're going to do what they do. So, we'll just keep our nose to the grindstone, keep rocking and rolling with that. And other than that, I'm going to cut this video a little short. I'm going to head on out of here. I hope you guys have a good week. Enjoy Martinsville. I think it'll be a great race. I like Martinsville, but sometimes it can turn into a demolition derby wreck fest. So hopefully we get some long green flag runs at Martinsville. I think